Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. We're going to head to college football Big 12 action. This is actually going to be one of my best bets. So I'm going to kick it over to Ralph Michaels, who's going to interrogate me on why I like this particular game. And Ralph, it's all yours.
You know, Marco and I are going over this video, and, you know, he picked out one of the good games on the board. It's a Big 12 game, TCU and Texas Tech. And, you know, TCU, potential bubble burst a couple weeks ago with the loss, and now massive bubble burst. So, you know, being an Ohio State fan and having followed them for years, first question to you is it different coming into the season without national championship expectations, building up to become a national championship contender, and then having a loss to knock you out of the championship? Is that different than being Ohio State or Alabama and being eliminated with a loss in the season?
I think definitely. Well, usually, as we've seen in the last few years, if Alabama or Ohio State do get a loss, they find a way to get back into it anyways. TCU with the second loss, definitely out of the picture, but they still have a very realistic goal. And that goal is, because they changed the format of the Big 12 this year, it's not a total dream crusher situation here, because they can still get to the Big 12 championship game against Oklahoma, and they control their own destiny. They're in a three-way tie with Oklahoma State and West Virginia for the second spot, but they've already beat both of those teams. So they're in the driver's seat to get back to a rematch, and I think TCU is going to come up and show up big in this game.
TCU the last 8 weeks against SMU, Oklahoma State, West Virginia, and Oklahoma, they allowed 501 yards per game. Against Kansas State, Kansas, Iowa State, and Texas, they allowed 189 yards per game. Over 300-yard difference in those four games, in those four-game scenarios. Which TCU team shows up this week?
Well, the yards, you know, yeah, they gave up a lot of yards, but remember the teams the high potent teams that they've played. Here's a stat that's, you know, very interesting about TCU. You know, they've got the number 6 ranked defense in the country, allowing 16.3 points per game. They're 12th in the country at yards per play, 4.8, which the metrics guys love the yards per play number. And then when you consider those numbers, as good as those numbers sound already, consider that they're playing in a Big 12 conference where you've got, you know, half of the teams are those high potent offenses. Here's where I look at it. You look at the 3 teams that they played, the good offenses, they held them to season lows. Oklahoma State, they held to 14 points under their season average for points scored. West Virginia, 15 points under their season total for points scored. And Oklahoma last week, even though Oklahoma took it to them, they held them to 6 points under their season average. So which one do you want to look at? They're giving up the yardage or they're giving up the difference in points? This is a solid TCU team, and I like the coaching on this team. I think they bounce back because I think they want that second shot at Oklahoma and get into that championship game. And there's a lot of excitement this year because it is the first year for a Big 12 championship game. So to be a part of that, that's why I said I don't think it's a total dream crusher scenario. I'm going to go ahead, take TCU. I'm going to go ahead and lay the 7 points with them. I like the defense. I got them winning 31-20.
The Big 12 championship game at Jerryville this year, so almost like a bowl game. I mean, it is quite a prestigious game to survive. And Marco, an absolutely excellent point. When you're looking at Big 12 offenses and you look at 500 yards per game, well, Oklahoma averages over that. So holding them under average is the absolute way to go in Big 12 conference play when you're looking at those stats. Marco's best bet on TCU. And folks, this week, as Marco said on an earlier video, Zeke Elliott has nothing to do this week. So Zeke10 is a discount code to get $10 off any package at Wager Talk, be it a single play, be it a weekend all access. Make sure you use it. It expires this week, Sunday at midnight. Excuse me, Zeke10, wagertalk.com.